So for this video, I'm going to be discussing two March Madness brackets that I created and that you can vote on in the Bookish Drummer Discord. And the two brackets that I made are the Stephen King bracket and the Fantasy Series bracket. And if you guys are confused at all, I will explain. Basically, if you don't know, March Madness is a college basketball tournament that happens every year in, of course, March. And basically the premise is that there's 64 contenders, and every round, half of the teams get eliminated. So you start with 64, then you go to 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and then you end up with the winner. And, you know, a lot of betting takes place of like, oh, can someone fill out a perfect bracket? And basically I took that same concept and applied it to Stephen King novels and fantasy series. And basically, what you guys can do is join the Bookish Drummer Discord if you're not already there. The link is down below. And I think like every 3 or 4 days, I'm going to have polls open so you can vote on which Stephen King book or fantasy series makes it through to the next round. And normally these brackets, like if you're doing like a typical college basketball March Madness bracket, you have different seedings. So you have like the number 1 seeds, and there's 4 of those, and they're usually like the 4 best teams in college. And normally what you would do is have the number 1 seeds versus the number 16 seeds, and those are usually like the 4 worst teams in the tournament. So more than likely the number 1 seeds would beat the 16 seeds, and then you go 2-15, 3-14, all the way down to 8 versus 9. And usually those kind of matchups are the closest and they're harder to predict. But I kind of threw that all out the window and just randomized all of these. So, because I thought it would kind of be boring if like I did Stephen King, like, oh, you know, it's just going to be It versus The Stand or something. I thought that was kind of silly. So all of these matchups were completely randomized. Same with the fantasy series, all random. It's the same seeding procedure. So like you still have the number 1 seed versus the number 16 seeds, and there's 64 options. So you have 1 through 16 4 times. Hopefully this makes sense. I'll try to, you know, have some graphics up here to kind of show you what I mean and what it looks like. But basically, yeah, I think every 3 or 4 days, I'm going to have polls open for all of these. And it'll be very interesting to see who wins. And some of the matchups in the first round are doozies. Like I said, they're completely random. And basically, I'm just going to go over them right about now. So I'll start with the Stephen King bracket. If you guys don't care about Stephen King, you can fast forward to the fantasy series bracket and vice versa. But the Stephen King matchups are as follows. So you have the number 1 seed, Gerald's Game, versus number 16, Gwendy's Button Box. That'll be, I don't know who's going to win that. And then the second one is a doozy, because I know a lot of people love both of these books. You have the number 2 seed, Salem's Lot, versus the number 15 seed, Pet Sematary. Whew, I have no idea who's going to win that. And then number 3, Thinner, versus number 4, Blaze. My initial reaction is Thinner, because I don't think enough people have read Blaze, but again, that'll be interesting. And then number 4, Wolves of the Kala, which is Dark Tower, book 5, versus number 13, The Gunslinger, which is book 1 of the Dark Tower. That one, I don't know. Because I personally think that Wolves of the Kala is my least favorite of the Dark Tower main novels. But I could see it beating The Gunslinger, which would be quite hilarious. And then we have Under the Dome versus Sleeping Beauties. I'm sure Under the Dome is going to win that. That's number 5 and 12, by the way. And then we have number 6, Joyland, versus number 11, The Dark Tower. I'm fairly confident that The Dark Tower will win, but you never know. And then we have the number 7, The Dark Half, versus number 10, Cujo. My mind would initially say Cujo, but I know a few people who've read it that think it's overrated, so you never know. And then number 8, Billy Summers, versus number 9, Dr. Sleep. That one should be close. I don't know. That's an interesting matchup. And then we go to the second set. Number 1, Mr. Mercedes versus number 16, the Colorado Kid. I'm fairly confident that Mr. Mercedes will win. I know a lot of people don't love the Colorado Kid, but that would be a fun upset. And then we have number 2, Rose Madder. Number 15, The Drawing of the Three. I'm fairly confident The Drawing of the Three will win. Number 3, Insomnia versus number 14, Christine. Both have its fans, but I'm sure Christine would win, possibly. And then we have number 4, The Running Man versus number 13, Song of Susanna. That could go either way. I don't really know. Number 5, Misery versus number 12, The Wind Through the Keyhole. Fairly confident Misery takes that easily. This one's interesting. Number 6, It versus number 11, Needful Things. I don't know. I think It will probably take it, but Needful Things is great. And then I laughed my ass off when, like I said, people are not going to believe me, but it was completely random when I did this. Number 7, 11/22/63 versus number 10, The Stand. Arguably, 2 of the most well-known Stephen King books that he's written in the first round, which makes no sense. But like I said, it was completely random. That's a toss-up. I have no idea. I don't know. We'll see. And then Revival, number 8 versus number 9, End of Watch. I hope Revival wins because I did not like End of Watch. And then we get to the third set, which is, if you're looking at the bracket, this is on the right side. We have number 1, Doomakey versus number 16, Carrie. I love both of those novels, and I hate to see one of them get bumped in the first round, but I'd probably pick Doomakey. It's so good. And then also, completely random, number 2, Black House versus number 15, The Talisman. Both probably my least favorite Stephen King books pinned together, and fuck. Then we have number 3, Later versus number 4, Finders Keepers. I love both of these books, and I'm very interested to see who wins. Number 4, Holly versus number 13, Wizard and Glass. Holly was a very divisive book, but so was Wizard and Glass. Even though I love that book, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about it. So that's a toss-up. I don't know. And then number 5, we have Firestarter versus number 12, Desperation. I would pick Firestarter, but I know Desperation has its fans. I'm sure Firestarter can probably win that, though. And then we have number 6, The Eyes of the Dragon versus number 11, The Regulators. I think more people have read Eyes of the Dragon. I could be wrong, but I think that one would probably win. And then we have From a Buick 8 versus the Tommyknockers. I think both of these would probably be a lot lower seeds than what they are, but I think probably more people have read Tommyknockers. I don't know. That's a weird, I don't know. And then, speaking of bad books, number 8, Elevation versus number 9, Cell. I'm gonna, even though I really don't like either of them, I think more people enjoy Cell, so probably that one. And then the fourth section here, number 1 seed, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon versus number 16, The Outsider. That's a tough one. I don't know. This one's probably easier. Number 2, The Green Mile versus number 15, The Long Walk. Probably The Green Mile. I like both of them, but The Green Mile is way more popular. And then this one should also win, because I know a lot of people in our Discord love this Stephen King book. Number 3, Dolores Claiborne versus number 14, Roadwork, which you guys know I love Roadwork, but I also love Dolores Claiborne. That should probably win in a landslide. Then we have number 4, The Shining versus number 13, Fairy Tale. That should also probably win in a landslide. Then we have number 5, The Wastelands versus number 12, The Dead Zone. You guys know I love The Dead Zone, but it might get bumped because I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on The Dead Zone, and The Wastelands is arguably the most popular Dark Tower novel, so, oh man, I hate that. And then we have number 6, Rage, versus number 11, The Institute. Rage is definitely one of my least favorites, and The Institute is very popular, so I'm assuming that will probably move forward. And then we have number 7, Lazy Story, versus number 10, Bag of Bones. I don't really like either of them, and I don't remember a lot of people on the Discord liking either one, so that's a toss-up, no idea. Then we have number 8, Dreamcatcher, versus number 9, Hearts in Atlantis. I know a lot of people don't love Dreamcatcher, and a lot of people do love Hearts in Atlantis, so I'm pretty sure that one will move on. So that would be all of the first round matchups, and then, like I said, it starts out with 64, and then after the first round, it's 32, then 16, 8, 4, 2, until we get a winner. So it'll be interesting to see who wins. And like I said, in the first round, there's going to be a ton of great Stephen King books that get bumped out. So it'll be very interesting. And now we move on to the second bracket, because I was originally only going to do one, and I put up a poll to see which one the people on my Discord would want to see more. And turns out they wanted both of them. So we're also getting the fantasy series bracket. And it's the same thing. There's going to be 64 options. And here are the first round matchups. So we have the number 1 seed, Greenbone Saga, which is Jade City, versus number 16 seed, Chronicles of Narnia. Narnia should not be a number 16 seed, but, you know, that's just it's all random. This one's interesting because I know Narnia is a classic, but a lot of people love Jade City, so I don't know. That could go either way. This one, I don't see going either way. That would be numbered, and again, this seeding makes no sense. The number 2 seed, Founders Trilogy, which is Foundryside, versus number 15, Stormlight Archive. Why is that number 15? But yeah, Stormlight Archive's going to win that. That would be an epic upset. And then we have number 3, The Inheritance Cycle, which is Aragon, versus number 14, the Winternight Trilogy, which is like The Bear and the Nightingale. I know it has its fan. I mean, it could either go like the nostalgia route, or a lot of people love the Winternight Trilogy. I don't know. That could go either way. And then we have number 4, Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, versus number 13, Darker Shade of Magic. I don't really know. Yeah, 2 very different series. I have no idea what would win that. This one, I'm pretty confident. Number 5, Wheel of Time, versus number 12, Black Company. I'm sure Wheel of Time is going to win. There's a lot of Wheel of Time fans, so that's going to be a definite contender. Then we have number 6, Drowning Empire, Bone Shard Daughter, versus number 11, Witcher. I love both of these. I'd hate to see Witcher get bumped out, but I know a lot of people love Bone Shard Daughter, so I don't know. That could kind of go either way. And then we have number 7, Wars of Light and Shadow, versus number 10, Rift War Saga. Again, could go either way. Yeah, I haven't read either one of them, so I don't really have an opinion. Then we have number 8, Temeraire, versus number 9, Books of Babel. That one is interesting. My gut would probably be Temeraire, because I know Books of Babel is kind of divisive, but I don't know. It would be interesting. And then we have the second tier here. Number 1, Sword of Truth, and then number 16, the Davabad trilogy, which is City of Brass. Pretty sure the City of Brass would win, because I know a lot of people don't love Terry Goodkind, so, but you never know. And then we have number 2, Lightbringer, Black Prism, and then we have versus number 15, Threadlight, Voice of War. That one's very interesting, because I know both are very popular, similar kind of magic systems going on, so I don't know. That could go either way too. Then we have number 3, Obsidian Path, which is like Blackstone Heart, versus number 14, Grishaverse, Shadow and Bone, like those kind of books. That one, very different. I know a lot of people, probably a lot more people have read Grishaverse, so maybe that would win, which would kind of suck, because I love Obsidian Path. And then we have very different options here. Number 4, Discworld versus number 13, Poppy War. I love Poppy War, but I know there's so many Discworld fans, so that would probably win, but I'd love to see Poppy War win. And then this is one of the heavy hitter, like, must-see TV matchups here. Number 5, A Song of Ice and Fire, my personal favorite, versus number 12, Dresden, Harry Dresden. Oh, man. I really don't want to see A Song of Ice and Fire lose, but I know a lot of people love the Dresden Files. That one, I think, is going to be very close. And I'm going to be upset either way, because I really like both series. But A Song of Ice and Fire, I really want that to win. And then the next matchup is number 6, Rhaenyra, Michael J. Sullivan, so like all of the Rhaenyra books, essentially. Versus number 11, Redwall. You know, all of the Redwall books, which are very nostalgic for me, but I also love Legend of the First Empire. I'm sure Michael J. Sullivan's going to win, just off of recency bias. And then we have number 7, Aurelian Cycle, which is Fireborn, versus number 10, the Mass multiverse, Sarah J. Maas, or Moss, or whatever, which is like Court of Rose and Thorns, all that crap. Yeah, I don't really like either of them. I know both are very popular, so that one's, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win. And then number 8, Percy Jackson versus number 9, Winnowing Flame. My gut says Percy Jackson because I think nostalgia and people just usually like it. Winnowing Flame, I know it's popular, but it's also divisive. That could kind of go either way. And then we go to the right side of the bracket for the third tier here. We have number 1, The Burning, which is Rage of Dragons, versus number 16, The Band, Kings of the Wild. I think Rage of Dragons is a bit divisive, and I love Kings of the Wild, so I would love to see that, but I could see that one being close. And then we have number 2, Powder Mage, versus number 15, Dark Tower. I'm pretty sure Dark Tower is going to win. I know a lot of people don't like Powder Mage, so I definitely see Dark Tower winning by a landslide. And then number 3, Malazan versus number 14, Harry Potter. Very different series, but both very popular. So that's another heavy hitter. I have no idea what's going to happen with that. And then we have number 4, Broken Empire, which is Mark Lawrence, Prince of Thorns, versus number 13, Faithful and the Fallen. That quartet by John Gwynne. That one I could kind of see going either way. I'm not really a big fan of either one, so it's a toss-up. I don't know. And then also by John Gwynne, number 5, Shadow of the Gods versus number 12, Second Apocalypse, which is the Prince of Nothing trilogy, and then like the R. Scott Baker books. That one, I think John Gwynne is probably just more popular, so, but I don't know. You never know. And then number 6, this makes no sense why it's number 6, but Lord of the Rings versus number 11, Greatcoats. You would think Lord of the Rings would win, but I know a lot of people prefer the movies, and I know a lot of people love Greatcoats, so that could potentially be an upset, but I would probably put money on Lord of the Rings, but you never know. And then we have number 7, War for the Rose Throne, which is like Priest of Bones, versus number 10, Dagger and Coin, by Daniel Abraham. That one, it's a toss-up. Those are kind of not like, they're less popular than some of these other ones, so I don't really know how that one's going to go. And then also, by Daniel Abraham, number 8, Long Price Quartet versus number 9, Dandelion Dynasty. Both of these, they're popular on like our corner of YouTube. I don't know if they have like wide-reaching audiences. So I don't really know which one's going to win, because I know a lot of people, you either love these series or you just can't get into it. So that one could go either way. I don't know. And then number 1, for the fourth and final tier, we have Gentlemen Bastards, Lies of Locke Lamora, versus number 16, Raven Shadow, which is Bloodsong. I love Gentleman Bastards, but I know a lot of people love Anthony Ryan, so I would probably put money on Gentleman Bastards, though. You never know. And number 2, we have Outlander versus number 15, His Dark Materials. I think His Dark Materials is probably a bit divisive. Outlander, I know a lot of people love it. I even like it a lot, so I would probably see Outlander winning that. And then this one's a bit of a doozy. I don't really like either of them, but I know both very popular. Number 3, Realm of the Elderlings, Robin Hobb, versus number 14, 5th Season, N.K. Jemisin. I would put money on Hobb. I know a lot of people love Hobb, but a lot of people love 5th Season too. I don't know. And then we have number 4 from Blood and Ash, and then number 13, Bound and the Broken. I know a lot of people, especially on like the Wizardly Enclave Discord, love Bound and the Broken. So I could definitely see that beating From Blood and Ash, even though From Blood and Ash is extremely popular from what I know. But yeah. And then we have number 5, Green Rider versus number 12, Mistborn. I know Green Rider has its fans, but I don't see Mistborn losing. I know a ton of people love Mistborn. And then this is another doozy. We have number 6, Kingkiller Chronicles, Name of the Wind, versus number 11, First Law, Joe Abercrombie. I'm not a big fan of either one. I know a lot of people love Joe Abercrombie, but I know a lot of people love Name of the Wind. So that one will be close, I'm sure. And then we have number 7, Song of the Shattered Sands, which is like 12 Kings and Cherokee, one of my favorites, versus number 10, Fourth Wing, which, not my kind of book, probably, but I know it's very popular, so probably Fourth Wing would win, but I would want Shattered Sands to win in my heart. And then the last matchup is number 8, Cradle, versus number 9, Crown of Stars. I think probably more people have read Cradle, and it also just might be recency bias. So that's probably my guess, but you know, who knows? Who knows with any of these matchups, really? All right, so those are my Stephen King bracket and my fantasy series bracket. And those are the first round matchups, and I'm very interested to see who wins the whole thing. And you can help by voting in the Book of Strummer Discord. We're going to open this up in March because this is March Madness, of course. So the voting for the first round will start on March 1st. And like I said, I think I'm either going to do, like, the first round's either going to last 3 or 4 days. And then after that, it'll be 32 contenders left for both of them. And then 3 or 4 days, you'll have to vote for that. So on and so forth until towards the end of the month. I'll probably have like a week open for the final matchups, whoever and whatever that will be. And this is going to be a lot of fun to see what is officially, not really, but what is going to be the winner of the Stephen King bracket and the fantasy series bracket. Y'all can comment down below your predictions for the first round or just your predictions on who the winner is going to be overall. I would love to see that. Comment that down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and the Book of Strummer Discord where all of this March Madness is taking place. I also have my Patreon page linked down below if you want to go support me there. And I have my Amazon wishlist if you'd like to buy me a book. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day.